made or the nomenclature from India or Saudi came after one poet that was sent to them. This verse says
والذين عادوا والنصارى والصابئين. نعم الحمد لله صلاة والسلام على رسول الله وبعد. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, إن الذين آمنوا والذين عادوا والنصارى والصابئين. In another verse, والصابئين والنصارى. Now, does that mean that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is praising them? Yeah. No. Anybody can lay claim to something. We say the word Yahud, as the scholars have explained, come from either Yahuda. Yahuda was said to be the eldest son of Yaqub alayhi salatu salam. Take for instance, if you ascribe yourself to your great-great-great-grandfather, is that a sin? No. It's not a sin, because he is your father. Messenger of Allah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who ascribed himself to Abdul Muttalib, he will say, Ana ibn Abdul Muttalib, I am the son of Abdul Muttalib. Who is Abdul Muttalib? Abdul Muttalib mushrik. But it says what? An ibn Abdul Muttalib, I am the son of Abdul Muttalib. Is he not the son of Abdul Muttalib? He is the son of Abdul Muttalib. So, Yahuda, the eldest son of Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam, was he a mu'min or not? Mu'min. So if you can ascribe yourself to your great-great-grandfather or your grandfather who is a non-Muslim, why can't you ascribe yourself to your great-grandfather or your grandfather that is a Muslim? So saying we are Yahudi, that is, we are the descendants of Yahud, there is no harm in this. But the fact that you ascribe yourself to Yahud, does that mean you have what automatic ticket of Al-Jannah? No. تلك أمة قد خلت لها ما كسبت ولكم ما كسبتم ولا تسألون عما كانوا يعملون. So those are ummah, they've gone with their own deeds, with their own piety. So you are not going to be questioned concerning their own piety. You are going to be questioned about your own piety. Just as Abu Talib or Abdul Muttalib went with his own kufr. So Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was not responsible for the kufr of Abdul Muttalib. Abdul Muttalib will be answerable to Allah for his own kufr. So this is one aspect. So when we say the Yahud, does that mean all of them are misguided? Not all the Yahud are misguided. Those who are upon the path of Ibrahim ﷺ, Yaqub ﷺ, they are what? They are guided because they have not shifted away from the path. I hope it is clear. So then if you take the other interpretation that they said what? Hudna ilayka, Hudna ilayka, we turn to you. It was the same people called Yahud that said Hudna ilayka. So some scholars say the word Yahud is from the word Hada Yahudu. So they were called Yahud because they said we have repented to you. So since then they were known to be what? The children of those who say we have repented to you. The fact that some people say they repented to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, does that mean that all their offspring, all their descendants will be upon the same manhaj of their father? No. So the same thing can be said of the Nasara. Originally Nasara, when they say Nasara, what is the origin of Nasara? Some scholars said Nasara is something that was gotten from Nasira, that is Nazareth. So those who believe in Prophet Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, from this place, so they call them Nasara. So any other person that takes to that belief, that is believe in Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, they said he has taken to the belief of the people of Nazareth. So they are what? Nasara. Does that mean that any person that now ascribes himself to having taken the belief of the people of Nazareth, does that mean he is upon what Isa ﷺ preached? The answer is no. There will be among them those who kept to that belief, and there will be those who have what deviated from it. So some scholars said it's gotten from the word Ansarullah, the helpers of Allah. When Prophet Isa ﷺ said, Man Ansari ilallah, who will be my helpers? Man Ansari ilallah. He says, so it is gotten the word Nasara is gotten from the word Ansar. Now whether from Ansar or from Nasira, whether from Hudna or from Yahuda, the most important thing is that what these are people. So those who are pious among them, who are upon the teachings of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, they are Muslims. And those who have deviated from the teachings of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, they are what? They are mushrikun kuffar. Now generally speaking, the Yahud, are they mushrikun kuffar? The Nasara, are they mushrikun kuffar, or they are Muslims? Generally speaking.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes, yeah.
They are, generally speaking, because most of them deviated. So we won't use what? The minority to give what? Really, most of those who call themselves Nasara, from time immemorial, so to say, they have deviated. So not because of the minority that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said what? Alladina qalu inna nasara. Dhalika, Allah explained the reason. Dhalika bi anna minhum qissisina wa rubana wa annahum la yastakbirun. So those who say we are Nasara and they fulfill this quality of what? Adamul istikbar, not being pompous from what? From accepting the truth. So they are what? They are Muslims. They are Muslims. They will, if they were to be alive when President of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came, they watch, they will embrace the truth. So the same thing will be said of the Yahud. We have among the Yahud in Medina those who embraced Islam because they saw the truth. But generally speaking, we say the Yahud are mushrikun kuffar. The Nasara are mushrikun kuffar. But somebody said what Allah said, for instance, Inna alladhina amanu walladhina hadu wal nasara. Allah said what? Man amana, whoever believes. Don't just name. Any person can call himself I'm a mu'min, I'm a follower of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but he's doing shirk. Is he a follower of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? No. So I think the issue is clear. Wallahu a'lam. No. Now they said most of us that have wives, when we get home, we should endeavor to ask our wives, what have we learned from the Halqah? Wallahi, this is an opportunity for us to gather and enlighten one another. The speaker benefits, the listeners also benefit. So if we can do that, when we get home, we try to rehearse whatever we have had from the sitting. I think this will be more beneficial for every one of us, because something may have escaped you that your wife will be able to remind you, or some things may have escaped your wife that you'll be able to also remind her. So this is something that is good, and is a good suggestion. Now, is that
if you're in a general gathering, Muslim and Christian, and they say you should do the opening prayer to Muslim Christian prayer. First of all, should you refuse? If you say do not refuse to the prayer, then in the prayer the person now starts saying something like, in the name of Allah, you now send blessings on the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu and Ibrahim alayhi salatu and Jesus Christ and Moses, and he starts saying things like that. Is that correct? Saying we send peace and blessings in Jesus Christ. Is that correct? That's the first question. Then the second question is some people, especially the North, they believe that you are not supposed to give your salary to Christians for it. Is there any evidence against this, or what evidence can I tell them to say that you can give your salary to Christians?
Now, as for giving the salaram to a non-Muslim, is this permissible? I don't know of any text of the Quran or the Sunnah or the Athar of the Salaf Salih that prohibits this. So it's something that you have the right to do it the way you like. The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Kulu wa tasaddaqu wa dakhiru." Each of the meat, then give sadaqah out of each. Likewise, you can also keep. So if you want to do sadaqah out of each, is it haram for you to do sadaqah on a non-Muslim? There is no text that says it is haram for you to do sadaqah on a non-Muslim. You can give a non-Muslim your sadaqah. Even the zakah that ordinarily should not be given to a non-Muslim, if there is a genuine reason of trying to draw the persons to Islam, you can give a non-Muslim, a Christian also, the sadaqah, that is a compulsory sadaqah. So I don't know of anything that says it is haram to do that. Wallahu a'lam. Now concerning the first question, being in a mixed gathering, then you are asked to do dua istiftah. Saying dua al-istiftah, what is dua al-istiftah? A Muslim wants to start his gathering, he says what? Inna alhamdulillahi nahmaduhu. But saying there is a special dua that we start our gathering with. So this is not the way of the pious predecessors. So you start with Inna alhamdulillahi nahmaduhu wa nasta'in. So whenever you are asked to start a gathering, in fact, there shouldn't be anything like let somebody come and give us the opening prayer. No. If there are people who have understanding of the deen, you want to start your gathering, so inna alhamdulillah nahmadu or something like that is enough. But for us to say somebody will start, he has started everything, they will not say okay, and now we will not call on so and so person to come and give us the opening prayer. The one that you did, is it the closing prayer? When you started, you do what? You did some things. Which opening prayer are you looking for again? So this is borrowed from some of the Babas that they introduced. And those Babas, they copied it from the non-Muslims. So there is nothing like somebody will call on somebody to come and give us the opening prayer. The one you did, it's not closing prayer. So when you say Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasul, you want to start a gathering, maybe an akiko or so and so, that is what? Is an opening. And that is what Messenger of Allah Muhammad sallallahu will do. So he won't call on any other person that, okay, after this now we'll call on Abu Bakr or Umar to come and give us the opening prayer. So the one who doesn't do it now, people look at him as if, you people are too strict, you are too rigid. Is the sunnah of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu not better? وَخَيْرُ الْهَادِي هَادِي مُحَمَّدٍ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم. So why should you now intimidate people to the level of making them feel as if they are destroying Islam? Why you are the one destroying Islam? Because you are adding things that are not... But if one is called upon to do that maybe once in a while, you try to seize that opportunity at times maybe to educate people, there is nothing wrong in that. But to make it a day that something that we'll be doing constantly, this is bid'ah. The same thing to call on somebody to come and do now we are going to listen to the citation of the Quran from brother so and so. What type of tradition of mine? Does he want to do lecture? But if it happens once in a while, there is nothing wrong. But thinking this is what is a sunnah, this is the way you should do it. Is that how Messenger of Allah would do what? The program? Is that how Abu Bakr would do it? Imam Malik, Imam Shafi, Abu Hanifa? So they will say, okay, after the prayer, what do you call it? The opening prayer, then we are going to call on Brother so and so to come and recite the Quran for us. So we should try and adjust. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala assist us. Now, if one almost starts with Inna alhamdulillah in a misguiding like that, but you know that if you do that, it's going to give room for a Christian to also bring what they will do in their own religion. And what they are going to say is likely to be shirk, kufru, bid'ah. It is better for you not to say it aloud. Maybe you say whatever you want to say silent. That is, if you are the one opening it. Now, not that you are instructed to come and do prayer for them. Because anything that you do that will make the non-Muslim bring something of kufru or shirk, you should avoid it. And that is why Allah says, وَلَا تَسُبُّوا الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ. Do not abuse what they call other than Allah. Don't abuse Huba, don't abuse Manat, don't abuse Lat. فَيَسُبُّ اللَّهِ عَدْوًا بِغَيْرِ عِلْمٍ. When you do that, you know what will come after that is for them to abuse Allah. What have you benefited from abusing their Lord? From abusing their idols? When what they would do in retaliation is to abuse Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in that case, don't abuse their God. Don't abuse their idol. Because if you abuse their idol, they know, you know that what will come after it is for them to abuse Allah. But if you know what, if you abuse your idol, they won't abuse Allah. It is what? It is mustahab or it is wajib to abuse them. But when you know that if you do that, it will lead to greater evil, which is abusing Allah. So Allah is not equal. You can't equal their idols to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what is good for a Muslim is that you shouldn't fight for things like that. That we have to have a opening prayer. You know that if you fight for that okay, let us have opening prayer. That even if you are going to do in alhamdulillah, you fight for that. The Christians also get up and say, okay, we have to do ours too. So when they are doing theirs, they bring in shirk. Rather, what you should do is that let us forget something like prayer, and we are facing mundane things. So let us tackle that. So you remove the issue of prayer, because you know if you introduce that, they will bring what is worse than that. And you know that if you are going to, maybe you are going to be the one to start the city, you say something of what? Of hamdallah in your mind, you say it. You will say it out so that they will use that as an opportunity to. So that's the best way. Wallahu a'lam. I'm sorry. If you are in the midst of Christian, maybe you want to have a kind of meeting in a close of estate, and you are sort of saying, please give us opening prayer. In such case, can we just reserve for the sake of you look for a way of telling them that you are discussing the issue of the estate. Don't let us bring religion into this particular matter. So you look for a soft way of presenting it to them. Because when you do that, they will end up sitting with what? With calling on somebody who is a non-Muslim, and he will say, Jesus our Lord. Huh? Then don't join them. وَقَدْ نَزَّلَ عَلَيْكُمْ فِي الْكِتَابِ أَنْ إِذَا سَمِعْتُمْ آيَاتِ اللَّهِ يُكْفَرُ بِهَا وَيُسْتَعْذَرُ بِهَا فَلَا تَقْعُدُوا مَعَهُمْ حَتَّى يَخُوضُوا فِي حَدِيثٍ غَيْرِهِ إِنَّكُمْ إِذًا مِثْلُهُمْ. So they are calling on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your presence, and you don't have the opportunity to correct it. So Allah said, don't sit with them until they take to another issue. Now you sit with non-Muslims, you are discussing some issues of business and things like that. No harm. But when they bring things that are of kufr, you don't sit with them. or sins of mercy, unless if you're able to correct them. If you are unable to correct them, Allah says, فَلَا تَقْعُدُوا مَعَهُمْ حَتَّى يَخُوضُوا فِي حَدِيثٍ غَيْرِهِ إِنَّكُمْ إِذًا مِثْلُهُمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ جَامِعُ الْمُنَافِقِينَ وَالْكَافِرِينَ فِي جَهَنَّمَ جَمِيعًا. Now,
for example, in public school, that means of what Christian and Muslim, and if there is going to be a meeting, just a thing has to go. I don't need to see all the way out.
It's the same thing you are asking. What we should work towards is that you know Allah say you should not sit in a place where they are doing shirk and kufr. You have to oppose, and you don't have the ability to oppose. But if you can play this game of what, don't let us bring religion into this matter, you should watch, play that game. That doesn't mean you are not mentioning the name of Allah when you want to do anything. So we should work towards not introducing religion into this matter. This is what mundane thing. You tell them this is mundane. Let us discuss that. Everybody goes back to his or a place to go and do. But this, we end up fighting one another. You will not take to what I want to do. I will not take to what you want to do. So don't let us bring what. You look for a soft way of presenting this to them. So they know that whenever you are having this type of gathering, this will be the... but when you have the upper hand of you establishing what, take for instance now you are the principal of a school and you have the ability to establish Islam and the teachings of, you establish it, Islam must benefit from you. But when you know that you want to establish something like that, it's going to bring something that is more evil than what you are introducing, then in that case you don't introduce it. So a Muslim should be somebody who is sensible in studying what situation. Not that, okay, you are fighting for so and so. You know what you are fighting for. If you succeed in getting that thing, there is another evil that is worse than what you have fought for. So in that case, you don't fight for it, leave it. You have not had the opportunity to rectify and correct such a thing. So this is the way we handle things, wallahu a'lam. But if they insist there must be this thing, so you don't do that. Maybe you go away from them until what? حتى يخوضوا في حديث غيره. No.
Actually, in the Independence Day celebration yesterday, he said he was pray for Nigeria. So the Imam of the Central National Mosque and the pastor of the Khan, they were told to pray for Nigeria. And of course, the Imam started praised Musa, Ibrahim, Jesus Christ, and then Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam decided and translated and the rest of them, and then the prayer person to pray. Those kind of things.
Now Allah musta'an, the celebration itself is bid'ah. The celebration itself, the Imam is not supposed to be there. Now.
Something from someone, for example, a car, and the cost of the car is 1 million naira. But you had an agreement, and you pay 800, balance of 200. The agreement that you are going to pay the person a few weeks' time. But unfortunately, you drive the car not up to a bill. At the point of the transaction, you observe some people from the car, and said, no, the car has no problem, and it's okay. And after collecting the car, before the week, the car had a problem or the engine lost. Now you call the person, he said, it's less concerned about that. When you give the car to you, the car not perfect. And the reason why you are calling because she still have a balance, or you still have a balance to collect from you. Like you buy or you bought the car from the dealer, are you going to complain to the dealer? Now in this situation now, what would the best do? Need to refund the balance or to use that balance and get another engine to the car?
Now who make the engine knock? Who make the engine knock? Is it the one who drove the car?
The person that bought the car was driving the car, and on the way going, the car stopped. So when the mechanic checked it, he observed that the engine is locked. So and you call the person that sold the car to you, say no.
And the question I'm asking is that the fault, what has led to the knocking of the engine?
Okay.
Is it the fault of the driver, or that car has developed the problem as the engine has had a problem for long?
Yes. Now, the mechanic check the car and observe that, while driving the car, they observe the car pass through water, and water goes into the engine. And the mechanic said, okay, if the car enter the water like this, the highest thing that will happen is for the gasket to get formed, that the engine can still be ready. But the mechanic said there is no oil in that engine at that moment, so it's still dirty.
So who is to provide oil for a purchased car? Is it the owner of the car or the purchaser? So it's the fault of the buyer. So he should pay back the balance. Yes. It's as a result of his negligence. So he has been negligent. He knows when he buys a new car or he buys a car, he's supposed to take care of all these things. So he didn't take care of all these things, and the calamity happens.
We have in the house now, we have for the kind now. And then I buy a car and one week. Is there a must for me to service the car before driving? No.
Okay, the issue is, let me tell you the ruling. Let me tell you the ruling. Now, this you have brought it up. Now, if the mechanic says the ruling is that maybe they shouldn't service it, maybe at that time it's still the seller that is responsible for it, then that will have the ruling of the. We have to say that it is the seller that will be responsible for it. But if he says it is the buyer that is responsible for it, that means the buyer will have to pay the balance. So it's simple. But what I know, Allahu Alam, is that once you buy a thing and you have not discovered any fault in it, because what you are buying, you have to try it before concluding that you are buying it. So if you are pleased with a car, you won't buy a car until you have checked the engine, that the engine is okay or not. Or would they check the engine for you? So you have to check the engine of the car that you are buying. One of the most important things that you have to check in a car is whether the engine is still okay. So if you do not check it, so you are also guilty in the Sharia for not checking the engine of the car that you are buying. So, but wallahu alam, if let's say it happens that the fault is with the seller, then that means he has to be responsible for it. And if the fault is with the buyer will be responsible for it. So it's something that is simple.
Except the buyer asks for maybe guarantee or advance, maybe like 2 months.
That is what shart. That is a condition that, okay, this car, before we can conclude the purchase or the contract, I will have to drive it for 2 months. So if I like it, then we now effect the transaction. So this is called what? Shart. So it's called a shart, and it's permissible in the Sharia to have the condition shart like this type of condition. There are, I think we have treated all this before. We have different conditions. We have khiyaru al-aib, khiyaru al-sharti, we have khiyaru al-tadlis. So all these are things that we should know as Muslims. When we have the knowledge of these rulings of transactions in Islam, the disagreements amongst us will be very minimal. But most brothers as well do not have knowledge of the Islamic rulings on transactions. And that's why we'll be fighting people over things that ordinarily, if we are to take it to the Sharia, maybe the Sharia will fault us, will give the judgment in favor of somebody who is not a brother in the deen. In favor of somebody who is not a brother in the deen. Despite the fact that we are brothers in the deen. When I say brother in the deen, I'm referring to brothers of Sunnah, as we say we are Ahlus Sunnah. So how can you be fighting somebody that is not practicing Sunnah over things that when we have to take it, look at it from the Sharia angle, you will be faulted. So it means we have to learn more about the rulings. Allahu Alam.
Like yesterday, it was independence.
No?
Like yesterday was independence.
Okay.
So the Christian Convention Center, not like on the platform where they discovered about the show of material. They invited some speakers. Some Muslims went over to them.
Okay.
And it was held in the church. Even though what was discovered was clear political and other solution they can provide to it.
So what was the solution now?
Actually,
No, what I'm saying is that have they solved Nigerian issue now? You just spoke. Salah musta'an. Ordinarily, having a gathering like that is bid'ah in the first instance. Because we have only 2 Eids in Islam. Yawm al-Adha wa Yawm al-Fitri. No any other day calls for celebration in Islam. Messenger of Allah, when you go to Medina, the people of Medina were celebrating 2 days, which they called Yawm al-Niruz and Yawm al-Mahrajan. And he said to them that in Allah qad abdalakum bihi man khayran min huma yawm al-adha wa yawm al-fitr. Allah has given you 2 days in substitute for those 2 days. That is adha and fitri. He could have said, okay, you can add this to the one you'll be celebrating. He said, no. Allah has given you as what? Substitute. So we have only 2 Eids in Islam. 2 Eids in Islam, and that is Adha and Al-Fitri. So we have so many events, so many happenings in Islam. We have that of Badru, we have that of Uhud, we have that of death of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So many happenings. So they did not take those happenings as Eid. They didn't take them as Eid. So how can we now say because Nigeria is what? Nigeria gained independence 19 so and so. So because of that, we are going to make it a special day that year in, year out, it will call for celebration. This is what? Bid'ah in the deen. So as for a Muslim now participating in what the non-Muslims are organizing, and we say that thing is bid'ah, so this makes the matter worse. It makes the matter worse. Wallahu a'lam. No. Now going to church, if there is going there in order to join them in something of a bid'ah or shirk, then it takes the ruling. وَقَدْ نَزَّلَ عَلَيْكُمْ فِي الْكِتَابِ أَنْ إِذَا سَمِعْتُمْ آيَاتِ اللَّهِ يُكْفَرُ بِهَا وَيُسْتَهْزَأُ بِهَا فَلَا تَقْعُدُوا مَعَهُمْ حَتَّى يَخُوضُوا فِي حَدِيثٍ غَيْرِهِ إِنَّكُمْ إِذًا مِثْلُهُمْ. So any person that participates in a place where sin is being committed is one of them. If he participates in a place where shirk or kufr is being committed, he is one of them. So unless if he's going there to correct them, then that in that case is free. But if he's going there because he wants to make money, if it is sin, it's sinful. If it is kufr, it's a kafir. May Allah save us from this.
Even such gatherings will be considered under Mu'amalat. Can you still be clear?
You mean that of Eid? It's not Mu'amalat, it's Eid. It's Eid.
It has no religious background or...
That type of gathering is called Eid in Islam. And Eid is part of the deen. If you look at it from that hadith, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not tell them part of Mu'amalat. He didn't tell them part of Mu'amalat. He said, Inna Allah qad abdalakum bihima khayran minhuma. Allah has given you a substitute what is better than this. So he could have what considered it as Mu'amalat, that we are just celebrating it, but he didn't say that. So anything that has to do with things like this, they are classified under Eid. Take for instance, this what's it called? Valentine all these Mother's Day and things like this. If you look at the origin of all those things, they have a kind of shirk in them. They have a kind of shirk in them. If you look at all these practices, so at times they may want to say it's just something of mu'amalat, where people are just wine and dining, so it is not something of religion. No, it is part and parcel of religion. Eid is part and parcel of religion.
For example, after most people are going to travel period. But by the time they come back from where they from, they just want to buy something for the kids. Not on that particular day, maybe like 3 days after, something like that. Like they get together.
Now, if they get together, it has to do with just lecture. There is nothing wrong with that. But fixing it as an Eid is video. But if it's something of lecture that you want to educate people, that is the intention of organizing it, there is no harm. Wallahu a'lam.
So, that the food there, that is talking about the needs of Halqah and the Hajakas. Give it to non-believers. I don't know if
أو لا تصاحب إلا مؤمنا ولا يأكل طعامك إلا تقي. Do not befriend except a believer, and do not allow to eat your food except a taqi, a pious person. Does that mean that we cannot give a non-Muslim our food to eat? Is it sadaqah only or generally?
the food there, we're told that there's something about the need for Halqah and
But the hadith says, وَلَا يَأْكُلْ طَعَامَكَ إِلَّا التَّقِي. So and you should not allow to eat your food except a taqi, a pious person. And we know what is established in the deen is that you can give the non-Muslims. وَطَعَامُكُمْ حِلٌّ لَهُمْ. Your food is lawful to them. So are they going to eat your food when you do not give them your food? There is no contradiction. That hadith is talking about you when you make friends with people. This will be the people that will be close with you. So you try as much as possible that those who will be eating your food are the Muslims, the pious ones. You don't understand? Take for instance, now you have an akiko, as we have said, or a walima of nikah, as we have said. You invite people to the akiko. Most of those who you invite to your akiko, if they are pious people, they will be those who eat your food. But when you invite the unpious ones to your akiko, this is an indication that these are the people that you move with. So you try as much as possible to move with the pious people. So when you are with the sadiqun will be those that whenever you have anything, there will be those that you have around you that will eat with you. But that doesn't mean you can't give your food to the non-Muslim, because that is against the verse of the Quran itself, and is against the practice of the Prophet ﷺ himself, against the practice of the companions. We all know the hadith of Amr ibn al-As radiallahu anhu, Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As. He said that whenever, as Imam Bukhari reported is an Adab al-Mufrad, whenever he slaughtered a ram, he would tell his boy, Al-Ahdayta lijarina al-Yahudi. Did you give to our Jewish neighbor? Huh? So لا ينهاكم الله عن الذين لم يقاتلوكم في الدين ولم يخرجوكم من دياركم أن تبروهم وتقسطوا إليهم. So you have your mother as a Christian, for instance, now she comes to you, so she won't eat. Your father as a Jew comes to you, you won't give him food. Why? Because this is not meant for the father. No, Islam is not that rigid. It's not Islam. But the hadith is talking about those that la tusahibillah mu'mina. If you want to take as friends, make sure you take the Muslims as friends. With that, this will be those that you'll be eating together. So this is the correct interpretation of that hadith. Allahu Akbar.
This store is really going to be selling at super prices based on independence. I won't buy from it. A
store selling at cheaper prices because of independence, can one buy? Don't buy. Don't buy. When you buy in a situation like that, you are promoting. You are also supporting them. So a Muslim should frown at something that is not in line with the teachings of Islam. So don't buy at that time. Christmas, New Year. Don't buy. If you don't get that promo, you are not going to die. One should be aizah with your religion. So there are some things that will be enticing. You see them, they are enticing. If one is not strong in one's iman, you get carried away by those things. But when you are strong in iman, you see that, okay, inshallah, I'm not going to fall for this thing. It's a trial from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a trial from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we should try to force ourselves to bear some things. To bear some things.
Somebody was just telling me now that Black Friday has nothing to do with it. But I want to ask you a question that is Eid something that is celebrated every year, or is something that has a basis with the Kafir, or what is Eid really?
Now, what is the origin of Black Friday?
It's a prime sales. Everybody comes together, dealers and sales together. It's associated with their holiday. Some will see it is around that some will either Easter or Christmas. No, it's around Thanksgiving.
You know what is it? The question is just Google Black Friday, Google it. They will give you the origin. When did it start? No, that's black. Why black? Why not Red Friday? No, what I'm saying is that why did they call it Black Friday? Why not White Friday? You don't know the origin. If one go back and check the origin of the Black Friday, why did they choose black? There must be a reason for choosing black and not red and not white. Okay. So it's clear. there must be. You know, they have this. So you have to check this. One of our brothers also argued something like this with me. He said, I think, was it one of the days that they will celebrate, maybe Mother's Day or something like that. I insisted that thing had what Kufru origin. When he Googled it, he said, oh, it's true, it had this thing. But we are just looking at it on the surface. We are looking at it on the surface. There are a lot of things that had Kufru origin. But as time went on, those things were no longer mentioned. So it is a celebration that people do. So most of these things, they wouldn't have called it black. There must be a reason. When they say Good Friday, why did they call it Good Friday? If the Arabs wants to translate the Good Friday, they say what? Al-Jum'atul Hazina. Like a sorrowful Friday. So there is a basis for some of these things that we just... Like somebody was telling me that I learned it for the first time, that when you present flowers, so to say, to somebody, it has basis. And presenting as what? As a gift, that you are presenting flower to somebody, it has what? Basis. And that basis is what is kufr. But today we take presentation of flower to people as well, showing of what? Love. So, but when you Google it, or you try to read it, you know the origin of some of these things. So the more you learn, the more you know. And the more you know the truth, you try to watch, go away from things that you know contradict the teachings of Islam. When you do some things you don't know, Allah is not going to punish you for that. But when the truth comes to you, you have to abide by it, and what you let people know. Allahu Akbar. Okay.
The other question
Okay.
Initial like that, it's always fault. Even when you buy a new car, you don't guarantee your shops. Because where you say is not from where I stay. If I go to by the express, same time, I'm sure that part of it my shop. So even on the new car, they don't guarantee that. The shop whereby you probably sell something like 2 weeks time, that is everything I've done. And if you go to where you drive the car, the sun will go through and the oil might leak it. So that the people know. So when the car comes back and the car is with you, and you probably have to pay the same.
Now in Islam, when it is proven that maybe the driver, for instance, has been negligent or has gone overboard concerning something, then he will be responsible for that. Now, as for saying, okay, I will drive it for a week or 2 weeks, scholars, they allow something like this. The gara, there is gara there, but that gara is gararu yasir, is minor obscurity, so to say, that is in it. So if you prefer the use of maybe kilometers, maybe can I use it to cover so and so kilometers, if that is what you prefer.
Like Honda, between 98 to 2002, at 100 might start having transmission issues. Before from the factory.
So the seller should tell the buyer all this. If I request, for instance, now that I'm going to use it for so and so days, you let me know that this car that you are going to buy at so and so kilometers or so and so miles, it will be having so and so problem. So the issue is that we should be plain when we are transacting. We should be plain when we are transacting. You know that your commodity has before. Don't hide it. Don't hide it. Be plain to your brother so that barakah will be in the transaction. Wallahu a'lam.
We have so many speakers these days now. With regards to the deen, somebody was saying a lot of things concerning the people as a king. So who was the man with October? Was he a storyteller?
Alhamdulillah, salatu sallallahu. Al-Imam al-Tabari was, as the scholars will say, Sheikh al-Mufassirin. That is the Sheikh of the Mufassirun. Imam al-Tabari, in his tafsir book, he would bring the ahadith concerning a particular verse, regardless of whether they are authentic or not. He will bring those ahadith, and he will bring some athar of the salaf, of the companions, concerning the interpretation of a verse of the Quran, regardless of whether they are authentic or not. Though most of them will be authentic, but some might not be authentic. It's not compulsory on the one who is writing something like this to tell you that every hadith is using is what is authentic, as long as he has brought the shame of that hadith. as long as he has brought the shade of the hadith. So the tafsir of Tabari, for instance, when he brings a hadith explaining some verses, or the athar explaining some verses, he will bring them with the shades. That tafsir is not for every Tom, Dick and Harry. It's for those who are well grounded in knowledge, those who can look at the athar and the ahadith that are brought to say this particular hadith is da'if, this particular hadith is authentic, this particular athar is da'if, this particular one is authentic. As long as he has provided you with the shade, is less responsible. I hope it is clear. Take for instance, if he has brought those athar without shade, then it can be held responsible. Nobody, the athar are there with their shades. The ahadith are there with their shades. So somebody who is well grounded in knowledge can go there and check those ahadith and athar to see which ones are authentic, which ones are not authentic. So if a beginner, for instance, now goes to Tafsir al-Tabari and he starts quoting a hadith there, he should blame himself. Just like a beginner going to Sunan Abi Dawud, Sunan al-Nasai, Tirmidhi, and start quoting all the hadith there. If he quotes hadiths that are da'if there, he should blame himself, because the author have not said that the hadith in Sunan Tirmidhi, for instance, they are all authentic. Abu Dawud has not said what the hadith in Sunan Abi Dawud, they are all authentic. They have compiled a hadith and athar with their shades. So they are what? They are less responsible. They have done their own part of it. So if at all you want to say, okay, you want to go to a book, readily, you can talk about Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim. Because those who have authored those books, they said what? The ahadith there are authentic. Now, all the ahadith in Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim, are they all authentic? Are they all authentic? They cannot all be authentic. Because it is what? Judun Bashari. Those who have compiled it, they are all human beings. So, there might be some weak ahadith in them, or some ahadith that some people will disagree. Some of the scholars of hadith will disagree with them. But does that mean that they are not authentic? They are authentic books of ahadith. So, you shouldn't believe that all the hadiths in Bukhari or Muslim are all authentic. When you say that, you are rating it to the level of the Quran. At the same time, you shouldn't say what? The hadith of Bukhari are not authentic. When you say that, you are talking about what you do not know. So when you want to tell me that a particular hadith in Sahih Bukhari is not authentic, you must come up with the evidence. Because we know the work that the author has done. We know the work that the author has done. If somebody memorized about 200,000 hadith and decided to just pick out less than 4,000 hadith, and he said this 4,000 hadith, according to my research, they are authentic, he has done something. Okay, for you to say, okay, what you have claimed is not true, you have to come out with what? With the evidence. But one who has not said that all the hadiths in my book are authentic, if you find weak hadiths in that book, you want to fault him? He hasn't claimed that. So, going back to Tabari, Tafsir al-Tabari will bring athar and ahadith explaining verses of the Quran with their shades. Take for instance, in Surah Al-Baqarah only, scholars say there are about 6,000 hadith and athar on Surah Al-Baqarah only. Different hadith and athar. Tabari in Tafsir al-Tabari about 6,000. Meaning what? More than the hadith of Sahih Bukhari entirely. The hadith of Sahih Bukhari without repetition is less than 4,000. Without repetition. With repetition, above 7,000. Without repetition, less than 4,000. The hadith in Tabari, just Surah Al-Baqarah only, the hadith and the athar, they are what? About 6,000. What about other surah? So if somebody now learn what Kataba Zaidu, Daraba Zaidu Amran, and he says what, I want to go to book of Tafsir, now picks what? Tafsir al-Tabari. You know he's destroying himself. But if you want to pick the book of Tafsir with that level, you can go to watch Tafsir al-Muyassar. You can go to Tafsir Sheikh Sa'di. These are tafsir that are okay. You as a mutawassit also benefit from it. Even a scholar will benefit from Tafsir Sa'di. But you say, okay, no, I want to try this. So the next thing is what? Tafsir Tabari, Tafsir Ibn Kathir, Tafsir. No. Those tafsir, they have what? Hadith and Athar. No, they will bring their shade. So if you are one of the men of hadith, then you can say, okay, Ibn Kathir brought so and so hadith. The hadith is what is da'if because of so and so, because of so and so. But for somebody to just sit down and start racking his brain and said, well, to me, some hadiths are da'if in Tabari. Which hadith? How do you know they are da'if? Because to them it doesn't make sense. Which sense will be the standard? This is the problem. And it's, as I always tell people, it's not today's problem. There are people in the past that they will use their intellect to knock away the athar. They will say what? نُقَدِّمُ الْعَقْلَ النَّقْلِ. We give preference to the intellect over the text. Any text that does not agree with our intellect, we throw it away. So don't think it is maybe a person like this man in Markaz or so that started. No, people have been doing it. And the scholars have been refuting them for long. So, Wallahu a'lam. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. Inshallah, there will be halqa next week.